All right. Hello, everybody. I am Christine Burney. I am about to do an illustration that is for basically for charity. I keep finding out about our amazing animal adoption programs here in my hometown, which is this small town called Borger, Texas. And hold on one moment. Hey. All right, so I'm going to be switching over to my other screen so that you guys can see what is going on. You can see my actual work and not my messy room. So today I am, again, I really love animals, and we basically have just an animal control facility here, which has been pretty great. But I mean, I honestly wish there was a different solution for these animals, like maybe like a cute little dog zoo or something. I just love animals so much, and so does everyone in this town, it turns out. And so I'm going to do kind of a little mini portrait of each one of these dogs, and then just kind of give it to them and start doing more animal portraits for the animals that get left there. It really sucks for animals when they're given as gifts and then kind of deserted halfway through, like a month maybe. So a lot of these animals were pets that were given during Christmas season, and it just kind of really stinks. So I'm hoping that there are some new solutions that kind of develop for taking care of these animals that are super cute, and that apparently people just really didn't know what they were getting into when they adopted them. And so, all right. So I'm going to start with this. I'll probably have kind of like a similar feel to my other portraits that are very much, I'm gonna put an example. Well, I'll just bring it over. Here's an example of some of my other portraits that I've done before. And I really enjoy doing portraits. I like making them really pretty and fun and vibrant. And so I think I'm going to go for kind of something similar to this and this. And of course, this was in the same series, but I actually this one's my favorite of all. I did them for Christmas for one person, actually. It was his friends that he bought them for. And so I'm going to do something similar for these. And so first off, what I typically do whenever I do an illustration, again, if you've watched me before, like I usually have a photo reference. Most of what I do is very representational, as in it looks like the subject. And I'll add in some fun geometric shapes and just kind of have fun with the rest. But I like for most of it to resemble what I'm trying to draw, just because it's kind of fun that way. I know I enjoy it. And so I like to start off with like shapes. Um, Shapes are really fun. And of course, I like to go simple to complex. So it's always, I'm refining more and more as I go. Um, so cute. And I primarily work in Adobe Illustrator, and I primarily use the brush tool. And then I use the pencil tool to kind of clean up anything that's um, left squiggly or something. And okay, so okay. Oh my gosh, this puppy is already looking so cute that I don't even know what to do. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna say hi over here in my Watch Me Work stream. By the way, in case you didn't know, I'm gonna add the streaming link. Watch Me Work stream. By the way, in case you didn't know, I'm gonna add the streaming link. Watch Me Work stream. By the way, in case you didn't know, I'm gonna add the streaming link. Watch Me Work stream. By the way, in case you didn't know. Wow. Okay, that got real weird. Uh, so anyway, I just put the link to where you can find the different people that I stream at the same time as. It's kind of cool watching everyone hang out and kind of do their own work and like at the same time. It's really interesting to me. Oh, okay, and these are typically kind of the same people I work alongside every week, which is fun. Um, so okay, doing kind of simple stuff. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I don't have music on. Some of the time I don't really talk that much. I will typically in my work, I like, especially when I'm in like certain mentalities, like I have been recently, where I just am kind of tired of talking too much. I will just listen to TV shows. Like today, I've been listening to a lot of The Office, and last night as well. I've been working on this um, real estate job, actually, which has been really fun. Okay, so I'm going to kind of block out these shapes by like shadows and light, and kind of not critique too much before I'm developing the shape. That was something one of my drawing teachers used to always say, is like, don't critique what you're creating. So you have more of a chance to finish something if you don't over critique it in that process of making it. Of course, there's like time for feedback and everything. And feedback is actually a really essential part of creating things. But if like in this stage, if you critique too much, if you kind of judge yourself too much, it can kind of go the opposite direction. So Oh my gosh, this dog is so cute. Like, I kinda want to adopt it, but currently I'm living with my family who are going to be getting some chickens soon, actually. So, I don't they've said they don't want a puppy yet, so I kind of use colors from the picture and then I differentiate it at the end. Like, I change it up to be more interesting. But at first, I like to get kind of the general, um, shades, which can be fun. Um, but it's more of like a mapping out process, you know? And then as I'm doing that, I'm kind of maintaining just observation of like what shapes need to change a little bit to be more realistic to the actual shape and everything. And wow, that is awesome. So my work is a little more simple than other people's work, and I like it like that. So I'm excited. It's kind of just become my thing, and I've decided to start marketing my portraits and fun things like this more often. So I'm trying to just make a lot more of this work. All right. So kind of obviously as an illustrator or a designer, you kind of go with your own gut and like not intuition, but like just from practice, you kind of gather what your steps for design are. Um, Man, this puppy. Okay. Okay. Man, this dog is so little. See how I can make this a little more interesting. Kind of like having fun with the paws. I've actually had just a lot of good feedback as far as like keeping parts of the animals like really kind of goofy and fun. And so I like to keep part of them generally silly, you know? Okay. Check in. Wow. Right now I'm commenting on this other artist called Bot Birthing. He or she is making like this really cool looking like elf vampire kind of little amazing creature. I like to do that. I like that collaborative aspect. It's really fun. And yeah, I like being around other artists doing cool stuff. Okay. All right. Just kind of add a little bit of this. Okay. And then typically what I do as far as like form, I like to do the darks in one or two shapes and like the lights in a few shapes to kind of they have their own sort of plane in a way. And I represent, those shapes as far as like the various colors that they are. Hmm. Okay, so I'm basically gonna see kind of what shapes can be altered a little bit to just be more realistic. Because again, you really do in illustrations, you start out typically, I mean, this isn't for everyone, but you start out simpler and you work to be more complex as you go. And that kind of lets you iron out the shapes. I'm going to comment on Rum R's portrait really quick. So that sound, in case you wanted to know, is my keyboard, which I actually decided to keep the plastic on. I have one of those Mac keyboards, and when I keep the plastic on it, I can let my nieces and nephews like come into my room and not fear that they're gonna drop, water or something on it. But also myself, I've realized that sometimes I make more mistakes when it comes to my own stuff than anyone else, so never hurts to have a little bit of extra insurance, I guess. Oh, and I actually do have like my own renter's insurance and stuff like that. Anyway, next week I think I'm going to work a little bit more on some homes because that was really fun. Just making like working with this realtor to do a couple of like for sale homes. It reminded me how much I really love drawing architecture, but especially if it's something that can be personalized and made special for an owner or for someone who, say, grew up somewhere and like now they're having to move for whatever reason. It's a great way for them to be able to remember their house, and to see it in a different light and to, I don't know, just another form of celebration. Because it's kind of like what my work is kind of all about. I'm going to kind of go with something, I don't know, kind of a different color right now. I don't know. Okay. 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 So right now I'm just kind of forming out this puppy, and it's starting to look a little, I don't know, like I definitely need to fix a couple of shapes and just kind of refine a little bit more and see where some things need to be bigger, some things need to be smaller. That's my niece. I found out that she takes after her mother. She does that. Her mom really likes to sing at the top of her lungs, and it's really great during the day to listen to. And it's great at night, too. Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to kind of get some of these colors on here. Okay. Okay. Right now I'm working on the back end of this dog. It's kind of at a weird angle, so, and obviously adoption pets and animal control pets, they don't have like a ton of pictures of the same ones. It's kind of like, you know, they have like, you know, a couple of basic pictures and that's it. Um, okay. Hmm. And then, let's see. Okay. Sometimes to keep things a little simpler, I just connect certain shapes that are similarly colored, um, so that it doesn't complicate the space so much, which can be really fun. I say that a lot. Just drawing can be fun, when you just get your own way of doing it and you practice it enough to where you've kind of ironed out the way you like to do something. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. This too. You know, as you kind of keep drawing, you start to realize what looks realistic and what doesn't. And again, like drawing more abstracted, it does matter and it doesn't at the same time. Like it matters to the extent that you um want to represent form to its truest like level. Like sometimes you want a little bit of abstraction just to kind of, I mean, you're not a camera, you know, on purpose. Like illustrators are meant to like add their own little something to a work. And that's what I like about it. You know, you add kind of little bits and pieces of yourself, and it's great. It's great. Okay. All right. Now, just kind of, I mean, it's kind of a sad portrait so far, but usually I finish portraits anywhere from like 3 to 4 hours, you know, because I like to iron it out to look pretty much just like the animal, you know, and sometimes to make it super realistic, you have to keep refining and refining and refining and refining until like you get just the right likeness. And so that's my niece, but I'm gonna talk to her in a little bit. But so okay. No, the body is pretty small because it's further away than the head, technically. It doesn't look further away because it's on the same body, but it is. So that's good. And let's see, how can I represent these eyes where they don't look like, you know, some kind of demon? All right. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this line, you know, like it's like one of those little structures that as you, after you've used it, you can just get rid of it because it no longer serves your process. You know, kind of like anything, you know, once we have learned certain things, we kind of move on, even though the basics we kind of keep reintroducing over and over again. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna add a little bit of maybe this color. And here, I don't know, I don't really love this one. Okay, so I'm finishing up on kind of the snout area. And rounding that in. Okay. Okay. Okay, this this is what we call midway. All right, the nose doesn't exactly look right. And then again, I'm just refining. Okay. I mean, you get used to like not speaking for like hours and hours and hours when you're doing your work like during the day. But so pardon me if I'm a little not super vocal tonight. Um, I'm gonna kind of change this up, make it a little bit less spiky because I know it's hair, but it's also kind of all right. Man, I don't know if I love this. I need to practice more on animals. Not on animals, but drawing animals. All right. All right. Typically, when I get to like kind of a jumbled up space like this, I will not completely start over, but I kind of go over some of the shapes to make a more realistic kind of outline. And then I get rid of the old and let the new come in. Because I'm remembering, there are planes to faces and bodies, and um, there are planes. So as something goes around um, dimensionally, it changes plane, especially if it's, um, like these little areas, like the different light versus shadow, those are different planes. And you can start those by using geometric shapes like squares and circles or triangles to kind of get you started. And that's typically how I do. Today, I guess I'm just a little tired. I've been drawing a lot of the day, actually. I just recently started um, doing social media for different businesses around here and have done different designs and stuff. I've been on the computer a lot today. So I think I'm going to finish up with this and kind of, all right, I'm going to take this off. I don't really like that. I don't really like that. I'm going to just start over on that part. All right. Okay. My ultimate goal, though, with like doing animal portraits is to just kind of celebrate what different animals can teach us about life and just kind of respect nature and take care of it, to promote just taking care of nature. Man, I'm just kind of okay. Okay. I don't know why this is turning out a little bit more. Okay. Okay. All right. So you can also gauge kind of where to put different shapes by what they're touching, like both sides. Like this side was touching, it's it both starts here and it ends right at the tip of the nose. And that's a good way to kind of orient yourself to like where how to do drawings by shape. Because even if you don't continue down like an abstract way, drawing by shape is actually just a really good practice to grow as an artist because it helps you gauge like the structure of a subject more fully. That way, I don't know, it just better informs your judgment. Okay, I'm gonna bring this over. I'm gonna make this smaller. Okay. I'm gonna just go ahead and color these a little bit and just kind of go for it. Like finish this up so that I can start on the wreath. I honestly will probably do a little bit of the wreath without even having fully finished this because sometimes it's just good to start on a different aspect and come back to like more refinement after you've kind of taken a breather from looking at the same shapes and everything. All right, so this goes kind of a little differently. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and generally finish this. It's not finished, of course. And then I am going to start oh, that was really nice. Okay. So, you know, my style is very childlike, which can be fun as an illustrator if you're like, I don't know, it can be a fun way to bring just some balance into like normal graphic design, and a fun way to kind of bring your animal to life as well. And hopefully a fun way to get these animals adopted because that's kind of the goal here. Letting people see their value. You know, these animals are really valuable. And I actually hope that someone gets some land, which who knows, it could be me. I think I'm going to make some money this year and our land is pretty cheap right now and who knows, I could get land and have my own dog farm. Just adopt all of the dogs. Maybe not all of them, but like get them adopted somehow and just have a place for them to like roam and stuff a little bit. But anyway, I'm at a stopping point for this for these 2 seconds at least. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Maybe turn it a little bit. Actually, it's probably smaller. Okay. And then I'm going to kind of do a little mini wreath. Because I really love circles. I really love geometrical shapes. And I like fun, so that's good. I like to add like these simple geometric shapes, but like when they're together, they just end up looking really fun, and I end up having a lot of fun with it, even though it's super simple. And I like to have it generally somewhat bouncy because I think it adds a little bit of the artist touch. And since it's so digital, this work can be so very digital, you know, because it is done in Adobe Illustrator and it's kind of very graphic, you know, and shape based. Adding a little bit of bounce can be really healthy and good. All right, I'm just going to kind of add these different colors. And do a little outline around the animal just to differentiate it from the background, since the shapes in its body are more separated. So it shows through, it shows the background through. So I like to put it with a white background, but just with just enough to like get right behind the shape. Right. And then what I'm doing here is I'll group all of them and send them to the back using the Shift Command opening bracket key. And often I will like group the lines together before doing something like that. But I'm going to go ahead and group the dog shapes together first. And what I do to get the background just kind of in the background and into this shape is I copy the circle, I push Command B. That means it's pasting it right behind the circle. And then I will, actually, I'm going to group these together first. And then I'm going to just go Command 7. That makes a little mask out of it. But because I made a copy of the line of the circle, it has one in front of it as well. And that may seem confusing at first, but it's going to be okay. So then to make the wreath aspect of it, I am going to just kind of start drawing flowers and leaves. And this is my favorite part because I really like flowers. I really enjoy just like free drawing from nature. And even if it's not exactly like nature, flowers are just, I think, always going to be a good idea. Plus, in my work, nature is just a huge part of it. And of course, I'm going to add more to this. I'm going to refine it more, but I wanted to get the basic um, starting kind of map in there before I end this session. And to just show you how I typically will do a portrait. I mean, I really enjoy the wreath motif. I like the circular aspect. I like the floral aspect. I like normal wreaths, so illustrated wreaths are amazing as well. I think that they're just like a design element. Yeah. Or yeah, a design kind of element that just really upgrades a piece to make it a little bit more formal than it would have been without it. It kind of just brings it together, kind of um, like in a funeral, honestly. Like, as much as I actually really don't like funerals, I was talking to my family about maybe partnering with funeral homes to do like memorial portraits of family members for people, because I recently did that for a friend and it meant so much to his family that I feel like it could be I feel like it could be profitable, but I also just feel like it could be really a great service to those who lose someone, like to see their loved one in like a night, like a fun manner. Okay. So anyway, that's something that I am likely going to do. And okay, this is kind of getting a little wild, but I kind of like that aspect. I don't like for things to look too similar, but at the same time, like the different sides of a wreath kind of have to be somewhat similar. Okay, what I'm gonna do is what I like to do with wreaths is to highlight, like here and there, like a similar element, like a leaf. I'll highlight every 3 leaves and then make them the same color so that it brings unity to and balance to the wreath. And it kind of is another way of bringing some of the background colors into the front. And part of my nephew, that's my nephew outside my door running back and forth. He's great. And I actually think I'm not going to do that same color. Sometimes you got to differentiate the colors. Wow. Okay. Right. I think I'm going to finish this up here in a few minutes and get ready for bed. My family has been sick the last few days, and it's been an interesting season already. Oh, wow. New person. Wow. I'm never here this late. Well, sometimes I am, actually. But sometimes I'm not. And I've never seen this person. They're called Ascent. They do like comic style things. All right, I'm going to bring in some other colors to just change it up a little bit, because obviously you don't want just the same colors on the inside and outside. You want there to be contrast. All right. Doing a little bit of the berries. This has really been a motif that I've loved for a really long time. Like, I like adding different berry type things to a design, just because I feel like it adds a little like mini sparkle in a way, like a little garland type thing, a little bit of beads, like a designy type bead, which is really fun. And let's see, gonna do a little. It's also good to like have a nice mix of dark and light for dimension. The dark should be more the interior parts, but I mean, it's just to show that it's away from the light source. Okay. Let's see here. Just gonna have fun with this a little bit and then head to bed. All right. I'm pretty well finished. And I'm gonna do, let's see, what is it called? Borger. I'm just gonna put my hometown animal adoption. I'm gonna do it in block letters. I'm gonna put adopt me in block letters. And I'm actually going to make this not square I'm gonna extend my artboard, make it a little bit less square. Okay. Wow, this is kind of wild. I kind of feel like I might want to just kind of have similar hues on the outside and have the rainbow be only on the inside kind of thing. Just because part of it ends up just getting there. It's so colorful and I like it, but okay. I'm gonna leave just a few pops of color on the outside. And right. And I'm gonna just kind of put adopt me. I typically with lettering, I like to just kind of do basic square type lettering and then I round it out in the end because I kind of like that robotic look with lettering. Like it's kind of futuristic. I learned it from one of my old teachers, Thomas Burns. He does a lot of very futuristic type um, lettering, and it's just fun. Adopt me. Yeah. I really I want to start helping this charity just so much more often. All right, so I'm punching holes in this with the Pathfinder tool with a little, what's it called? The minus front tool in the Pathfinder area. And adopt me. I'm gonna make it a fun and adopt me. Okay, someone new is on. All right. Well, there we go. I have kind of a basic adoption poster. You know, I'm gonna kind of make this a little bit skinnier since it really doesn't make that huge of a difference with shapes like this. They're already kind of weird and different. I'm gonna group that together, center it on this thing. Well, not center it that way, but center it this way. Make this a little bit smaller. Adopt me. And then, the kind of final way to make this into a poster, I think, is to differentiate the background somehow, make some sort of contrast or something to kind of make it not so plain, I could put Borger, Texas. Can also turn these slightly. Nope, I like them kind of more plain. I'm gonna do this. Like, you know those old pictures where they have like little holders? I like doing holders. All right. And then make this more a different color. Probably I'm feeling like a blue is good. And it's official. I don't like that. I kind of mix these up more into the design and then do the page holders on the outside. Okay. As much as this is still a little unfinished, I like ending here for this video because I think that's a good ending point. It kind of shows the whole process of one whole or one whole beginning to an illustration anyway, the basis, you know, because I will definitely be refining the look of the animal, but overall, this is going to be the shape. I'm going to refine some of these petals and leaves and stuff so they're not so jagged, but I really like kind of this general aspect. So thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all all have a good night. All right. I go ahead and end this. And thank you again if you've been watching or listening, and I appreciate it. And I hope if you can, if you are lonely, that you'll consider adopting an animal from your local shelter. Otherwise, I hope you have a really great week and, you know, happy Friday tomorrow. And yeah, I hope you just have a great time. All right. Bye.